I'm Christina Fuges with MoldMaking Technology, and I'm back for another quick MMT Chat. My guest today is Bob Vancoillie, who is with Kenvue, formerly known as Johnson & Johnson Consumer.
Correct.
All right, how are you doing?
Good.
All right, the last time we spoke, I'm well. Last time we spoke, you talked about tooling digitalization, and now we know, this many months later, you've proven it out that it works. Talk to me a little bit about the key benefits of tooling digitalization.
So I think when we talked last time, it was more around the digital benefits of what could be done and how it could positively impact ultimately supply chain in general. I think since then, I've myself personally gone through this journey. We've piloted this program successfully. So I think when you look at what was done and what was proven to be done, I think there's three key benefits that you can get out of it. So when I look at it, I look at condition, mold condition monitoring, mold performance monitoring, and then how those two come together to ultimately give you the supply chain benefits that myself and my company as an OEM is ultimately looking for. When I look at things from a condition perspective, what ultimately that allows you to do is to use the digital data that's coming through to more proactively monitor these molds, the condition of the molds. When we look at mold lifecycle management, we have historical markers and historical performance points from a lifecycle monitoring perspective of when things like refurbishment and repairs should be done.
Maintenance, yep.
Yeah, so now when you look at these things, if you're monitoring things, if you're monitoring cycle time, if you're monitoring cycle counts, a lot of your real condition focused aspects, you can take that information now and say, well, I'm at cycle this, and here's where I should be looking at refurbing things, so you can plan a lot better, plan your capital better, and things like that, so that you're monitoring and taking care of things from a condition perspective before you're having the breakdowns and before you're negatively impacting your supply chain in those aspects.
I love it. That's great advice, and it's a great update to how far things have come in just a short amount of time, really, to prove it out.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the condition aspects, those are the basic elements. When you look at really what digitalization is unlocking is the ability to monitor performance health. How it's adhering to a qualified process as you're running that mold. So by monitoring that process performance, you're basically looking at things like you have condition covered, and now you're monitoring things at the process level to determine how that process is performing over time that you've qualified, and specifically where you're identifying areas where the process is coming out of control.
Really, everything you're saying is everybody wins in that scenario too. The more information you have about what's going on with that tool, the better everybody is.
Molding process is critically important, and that's what I think the digitalization, one of the things that it gives you is unlocking that piece of it, that you can monitor that, so that one, you can identify where processes are coming out of control, generating defects, because as it stands right now, from a process perspective, the only way that you can monitor defects is the outgoing metrology process at a converter. So they're doing outgoing metrology. If everything passes, they send the whole lot out. Well, the metrology pieces that they're measuring are, I don't know how frequently they monitor it, but it's specified time points over a lot. Well, you could have things happening in between those time points where they're pulling those samples. So we've seen it before personally at the OEM level where we're getting lots with defects in them. Well, if you have process monitoring indefinitely, really over a lot, then you can easily identify where things are coming out of control, and you're avoiding that. So really, when you look at putting both together, the condition and the performance parts of things, it really comes together in giving you that ultimate goal of, supply chain robustness that you're looking for.
Love it. Thanks for that. All right, and for everything more on tooling digitalization and everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com.